Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming to Grandmont Rosedale. I dare say this is the best neighborhood in Detroit. Mayor Mike Duggan, Lieutenant Governor Garland Gilchrist, Sheriff Ray Washington, Councilman James Tate, Councilman McAllister. Unfortunately, with a lot of masks, I couldn't catch every dignitary, but you're all welcome to Grandmont Rosedale and to our new branch here, TCF's new branch. It is truly an honor to be here today, joined by a number of TCF executive leadership: Dave Provost, Mike Jones, Donnell White, Sandy Kuhn, Randy Barris, Lindsay Youssef, and Tom Nestor. And I want to just point out those that don't know Tom Nestor. Tom, raise your hand. Where are you? Tom has been a secret weapon to get us this branch open on time, on delivery, the head of all of our branch network. Tom, thank you very much for your efforts. We have the privilege today to make good on one of the many promises that our bank made in November of 2019 when we began our partnership with the Grandmont Rosedale community. Those promises were committed at the North Rosedale Community House with over 600 neighbors in attendance. On that day, we celebrated the beginning of Mayor Mike Duggan's vision to support the mayor's creation of the Strategic Neighborhood Fund to strengthen and uplift neighborhoods that deserve the best of everyone's efforts. On that important day in November, we committed to a new STEM lab at the Cook Elementary School, inspired by our esteemed friend, one of Detroit Public Schools' most outstanding and devoted leaders, Principal Deanna Hunt, who is with us here today somewhere. Hello, Deanna. We also promised that day park benches in Minnock Park and Rosedale Park, neighborhood beautification grants across the entire neighborhood, playground equipment in North Rosedale Park, business support, business corridor investments, and of course the reason that we are here today, a neighborhood banking center along with a community space dedicated completely to Grandmont Rosedale and its residents. What we have learned since November of 2019 is that this community and all 5 of its neighborhoods, Minnock Park, Grandmont Number 1, Grandmont Community, Rosedale Park, and North Rosedale, are in so many ways the heartbeat of Detroit. With the help of GRDC Executive Director Sharita Smith. Sharita, are you here? Sharita Smith. And so many community leaders from Grandmont Rosedale who are with us today, being part of this neighborhood and afforded us the opportunity to know and to work with some of the most outstanding residents and small businesses of the city of Detroit. We have come to know Tina Castleberry, the owner of the amazing Garden Bug. Susan Murphy, the owner and curator of one of the city's great bookstores, Pages. Wanda Bynum, the owner of the popular Spa Appeal. And our good friend Dante Williams, who you'll hear from today, operating Cuts Lounge right across the street from our banking center. If you need a haircut as soon as this is over, please go across the street. Our goal has been and continues to be that the people of this community consider our bank to be a real and reliable neighbor. As you in Grandmont Rosedale know well, and as the mayor should be very proud, because of the continuing success of this area, finding and securing real estate for businesses has become a real challenge. Our real estate team, with great effort and a bit of luck, secured the location that we are standing alongside. The branch you see today is just the beginning of our commitment. Not only have we leased the branch space, but we are already planning our expansion into our immediate next-door neighbor, which just became available, and we have leased a former dance studio that will soon serve as part of our expanded branch and dedicated community space, which was requested by the great people of this neighborhood. If you look to my left, your right, you can see the design, very early stage, but we're already beginning the construction. Although the TCF name adorns the space today, in short order that name will change to Huntington Bank, where Steve Steinauer, its CEO, shares our deep commitment to the neighborhoods of the city of Detroit. And as many of you remember, Steve, on behalf of Huntington, followed TCF's $5 million commitment for the same amount for the Cody-Warrendale neighborhood, which will make our combined bank even more dedicated to being Detroit's hometown bank, and we are very proud of it. In all honesty, we stand here today because Mayor Mike Duggan urged and encouraged us to invest in this wonderful community and to step up in all of our commitments to the city of Detroit. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to present the great mayor of the city of Detroit, Mike Duggan.
Well, this is the kind of day I look forward to, development in the neighborhoods, right? So the community groups in Grandmont Rosedale hung in there through some really tough times and when other people were leaving. And as the neighborhood came back, there's a lot of talk about our commercial corridor, and many of us who are can remember the days when you went shopping in your neighborhood commercial corridor. You didn't have to go out to the suburbs. And we said, could we create those corridors again? And with all the excitement that was happening downtown, I sat down with Gary Torgo and I said, I think there's real opportunity in these neighborhood corridors, but we need direct investment to get it started. There was direct investment that went into Midtown before it ever took off by itself. There's a lot of private sector money. And Gary said, how about if I get a group of CEOs together and we each put $5 million into a neighborhood, pick 7 neighborhoods across the city, but the city has to do their share. And so he took the lead, $35 million, and by virtue of the fact that Gary led it, he got first pick and took Grandmont Rosedale. But when we talk about people here, they said Grand River was a place that you speed 50 miles an hour down as you head out of town, right? That's not a shopping district. We said we need to do something to bring the community back. And with the help of the state of Michigan, starting in the last administration and now with Governor Whitmer and Lieutenant Governor Gilchrist, we are getting a street that is going to be one that's safe to walk across if you live here. And we believe, just as we found out on Livernois when we invested, just as we found out on Kirchville, just as we found out in McNichols, that if you invest in the community, businesses will come back. And so I appreciate everything that TCF's done at Cook School, in the parks, and the business investments and the like. But this is what we really need. Jobs and business in the neighborhood. And next door, Detroit Vegan Soul, which is a Motor City Match winner, right? We're finding lots and lots of ways to do this. And so I'm getting to go to more and more of these events as we bring development back to the neighborhoods. And I just want you to know, the person who kicked it all off for us, we will always appreciate. Thank you, Gary Torgo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's now my pleasure to introduce the dynamic, outstanding Lieutenant Governor of the state of Michigan, our good friend Garland Gilchrist.
First of all, I want to thank you, Gary Torgo, for being such a visionary leader, not just in the city of Detroit, not just in the Southeast Michigan region, but really a model across the country for what it means to have vision-driven investment in communities. I thank you so much for your friendship and for your leadership. I also want to recognize all the leaders here. Mr. Mayor, thank you for your work. Council members, Tate, McAllister, and others who may be here. I want to thank you, Mr. Sheriff. This day is a celebration of community leaders coming together to support the community that they serve. And I'm proud to say that as a Detroiter who spent meaningful pieces of my life, including when I was born here in Grandmont. When we see everyone coming together, bringing their assets to the table to invest in a neighborhood, that's not about the real estate. It's not about the streets. It is about the people. And connecting people with opportunity, that is the purpose of capital. And what this represents here is not only a literal investment in the capital and real estate here in the community center and these businesses, but it is investment in the potential. Think of all the people who will come through this space, articulate their dreams, and then be connected to that possibility. There are so many entrepreneurs. There are so many people with ideas who've been inspired during this last year of challenge. They'll be able to come to a place like this branch and talk to someone about what they want to do next. This isn't a place only for reflection or remembrance. This is a place to refine a vision for the future that every person in every household in this neighborhood not only deserves, but demands. I want you to know that Governor Gretchen Whitmer and I will do everything that we can in our power to unlock every policy door that stands between people and opportunity. We want to do everything that we can in our power to break down every barrier that stands between someone's dreams and their reality. I know people have ideas in Detroit because I was born one of those people. But what I don't know is how big those dreams can go. But I know they can go bigger with partnership. They can go bigger with relationship. They can grow bigger with investment. They can grow bigger with tools and opportunities that can only be made real if all of us come together and decide to make them real. That's why I'm excited to be here today. That's why I'm thankful that we have partners, organizations, institutions like TCF, soon to be Huntington Bank, that are continuing to choose to invest in Detroit, Michigan, that are choosing to invest in the state of Michigan. That's what this is all about. I thank all of you for the choices that you make every day to make something more possible for another Detroiter, to make something more possible for someone you're connected to in your family. That is the challenge that we all have before us. Because no matter the depths of what we've had to fight with, we can work together to fight for something that is bigger, fight for something that is better, fight for something that is more possible and more positive. So I want to encourage you to challenge yourself to go even bigger and even deeper. There are more people who need to be connected to more resources and opportunities in more parts of this neighborhood, let alone this city and this state. But we all have the potential to make that real. So my question is, how real can you make it? I think we can make it a lot more real and a lot more accessible, and that is our charge every day of the week. Thank you so much. God bless you, Detroit. Thank you, Gary Torgo, Dave, the entire TCF family. Let's all get to work.
We have in our audience two fantastic city council members. The District 1 council member who is this neighborhood is our really good friend James Tate. He is one of the city's most outstanding and dedicated public servants. He has done an awful lot to help us to become part of this neighborhood and to become partners with this neighborhood. We're grateful for everything that you do and for your service to the city. It's now my pleasure to call upon Council Member Tate.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to District 1. Yeah. So this is awesome. I mean, here we are in a pandemic, and we're like growing, development. And it shows you what we can do when we work together, collectively. I always go back and I talk about how it was when I was told that we're about to have this strategic neighborhood, and it was all banks that were going to be behind it. And I had some of the same feelings that a lot of people had about banks being behind development in the community. Let's be honest about it. But what I did was I sat down with Gary and we had an opportunity to talk. And I felt him, eye to eye. And then also it doesn't hurt to have a phenomenal individual. Where's she at? There she is. Latrice McClendon. Having someone like Latrice, who we have the benefit of being, she lives in the neighborhood, so we know how to knock on her door if we have to. And so, in 2019, it was, okay, we want to trust you. But here we are in 2021. Now we want to look and see, did you do all the things that you said you were going to do? Did you do this? Check mark. How about the investment in the schools? Check mark. How about this new branch? Check mark. So what we see today is not the beginning of something great. This is a comma, because there's a lot of great things that have been going on. And I will say this relationship that we've had with TCF is one that I believe, especially with this man at the helm, we're going to have a great, great long relationship, one that is beneficial to the members of this community. It shows that they listen. Now, when we start talking about community space, and again, we're still in COVID, we're still in the pandemic, so we have to always social distance. But when they listen to the people of the community and say, look, we need a community space, that's what you see in that rendering now. And so it's showing, once again, this is all about making sure. That's right, give them a round of applause. It's not about what you say, it's about what you do. And we see what they're doing. And so on behalf, again, of the residents, yeah, this is one of these big, big statements. On behalf of the residents of District 1, we want to thank TCF for promises made, promises kept. And we're going to make sure that we continue to hold you to those promises. But we're going to make sure that we do so as a partner, because we know what we've gotten out of this partnership thus far is just beginning down this particular road. So again, looking forward to a continued engagement with the community, and I'll be here with you along the way. Congratulations on this new establishment. D1!
Throughout my time here in Detroit, and during much of our activities in business and banking throughout the years, the late Sheriff Benny Napoleon was nearly always at our side, encouraging us with his infectious smile and his deep love and commitment for the city of Detroit and its citizens. Not having Benny here today is indeed incredibly sad and most tragic, and I know all of you agree, deserves for us to share in a moment of silence in his memory. A moment of silence for Benny. During Sheriff Napoleon's tenure, he introduced us and promoted a very good friend of his and a good friend of ours, Ray Washington, who I know Benny would have been so pleased to see Sheriff Washington following in his footsteps as the sheriff of our great county. We are honored today for our first time in TCF to have Sheriff Washington with us and to help him in every way to carry on the legacy of our dear friend Benny Napoleon, which he is already doing. Ladies and gentlemen, our sheriff, Sheriff Washington.
Thank you, Gary, and thank you for inviting me. Good afternoon, everybody. To all the dignitaries and the community and the business leaders, I say hello to you as well. Listen, it's a great day today. Today is a good day. Anytime you can have a bank, corporate business, plant their branch smack dead in the community, that's a good thing. Downtown is what it is, and it's beautiful and it's thriving. But when we move to the neighborhood and start doing things like this, it's even better. It makes us all better. I thank you for putting this here, Gary. I'm a 20-year resident here in Rosedale Park, right here, Stahalin and Chalfont. And my children live, one of my sons live right around the corner, right at Huntington in North Rosedale. So now when he becomes a member of TCF Bank, and I'm going to be encouraging that, as well as I am already. I'm a member of TCF Bank. And I'm going to be encouraging him to do that. So when I walk my grandchildren through here, as I usually do, and we'll be able to stop at the ATM right here and pick up a little money and walk right down here to McDonald's. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm gonna I'm gonna be broke now, but that's what it is. And it's just when we talk about sustainability and doing things for the community, this is what we talk about. So I just want to say thank you, Gary, again for planting this here, and the Wayne County Sheriff's Office will be in this community. As you all know, we already are, as we're doing things in the community, making sure that our presence is felt and that you all feel good about what it is that we're doing for the community. So thank you again for having me. I'll be here often. God bless you all. Thank you.
Sheriff, I know some of our retail leaders are here, and we're going to inaugurate today the McDonald Loan Fund for you. It's a real honor today. You know, when you're a mayor of the city of Detroit, you're not allowed to receive gifts and you're not allowed to give gifts. And the only kind of gift that the mayor can really give is the devoted service that he provides for the city. But very privately, he really did give TCF one tremendous gift. We actually had to twist his arm, but he gave us Latrice McClendon. In all honesty, it did not come without a price, but it was worth the price. Latrice is our Senior VP and Director of Community and Corporate Relations, and she is soon to be, under the new Huntington umbrella, the Detroit Community President of the new Huntington Bank. I used to walk into meetings and they would say, "Hello, Mr. Chairman." Now I walk in with her and they say, "Hello, El Presidente." Latrice is a key designer of everything that's happening in Grandmont Rosedale. This was her district. She gave us our very first tour of the new Grandmont Rosedale TCF partnership, and it was there that we saw how much she does for the city and how much she will do for us. She has a wonderful team. That team just this year created a fantastic new organization for TCF called our Emerging Leaders Advisory Board. These are the most impressive young people across our region who have joined their own board at TCF. They're the millennials that are going to be the future of everything that we're doing in Detroit. And there are a few of our emerging leaders here. So if you're in the audience, just raise your hand so we could say hello to you. I also want to thank specifically Reverend Anthony, who will close out today's event, but I want to thank him for the gift of Donnell White, who has really been a terrific leader for us here. Ladies and gentlemen, my pleasure to introduce Latrice McClendon.
So how do you follow that, right? Best introduction ever. Thank you. Thank you to all of our speakers, Mr. Mayor, Lieutenant Governor, Chairman Gary Torgo, Councilmember Tate. I see State Rep Young in the audience as well, and so many dignitaries here, Sheriff Ray Washington. We just appreciate you for joining in on this celebration today. We're so excited about putting this branch in this community. And it's been our pleasure over the last year or so to serve. Also see Senator Sylvia Santana, so many names, excuse me. There's Sherry Gay Daniego, all community members and residents of Grandmont Rosedale. So before I move too fast, I want to thank my team, who, what you see here today, it was put on by my small and mighty team. So I have Kim and Courtney and JB and Jeremiah and Katarina. So can I just say thank you to them. I also want to acknowledge Cynthia Suggs. Is Cynthia here somewhere around? There she is. Can you stand up for a second, Cynthia? Cynthia will be the branch manager at this location. And I must do a little plug. She actually lived on Stahalin Street for years, so she's very familiar with this neighborhood, and it's good to have one of our own here at this branch. So thank you, Cynthia. So throughout our partnership with the Grandmont Rosedale community, the Grandmont Rosedale Development Corporation, ran by Sharita Smith, has been an incredible partner as we've navigated so many projects in this community. So today we want to help her further that mission at Grandmont Rosedale Development Corporation. So Sharita, if you'll just come to the stage really quick. We have a special presentation. We would like to present you with a $25,000 donation. That's actually my favorite part of my job, right? So this event will not be complete without all of our local small businesses, some which are located right behind you. These small businesses are the fabric of our community. When you came in, you should have received some TCF bucks. Does anybody have those TCF bucks in your hand? There it is. You get some money to shop with those vendors. Please support them. We know that the pandemic has been very difficult for a lot of our small business owners. And so I would also like to thank all of the small businesses like Detroit Vinyl, D-Town Vinyl here, which offered us the space. They're the only Black-owned vinyl company in the state of Michigan, FYI. We would also like to thank H&M Lounge, which is behind you, which we're using their patio inside space today. We would like to thank Detroit Vegan Soul, which we really needed all of that parking over there. So you guys see the parking, but thank you, Detroit Vegan Soul. And last but not least, one local business owner is here with us today, Dante Williams. Dante is the owner of Cuts Lounge, the grooming shop, which is right across the street. Just so that everyone knows, Dante has yet to cut my hair. I've been trying to get him to give me a fun little haircut. He's a little scared right now. So, but that's another story. Dante, would you come up? We would like Dante to give a few remarks today about small businesses here in the Grandmont Rosedale.
Thank you, Latrice. I can't follow $25,000, but I'm going to do my best. I usually rock my hat because I represent Detroit in the fullest capacity that I possibly can. We truly miss these gatherings. I for sure can tell you that, man. So it's good to see everybody out here. So just a quick introduction about myself. My name is Dante Williams. I am the owner of Cuts Lounge, the grooming shop right across the street. So I do expect an influx of business after this event. I'm a father, 5 girls. I'm a husband of 1 wife. And I'm also the Grand River Business Association president. So thank you. Firstly, though, I do want to thank Latrice for just inviting me. She's really been boots on the ground. She's been reaching out. She's been touching the hands of other businesses in the area. So thank you for just being a soldier. And Gary, I just want to thank you just for stimulating Cuts Lounge. So we soon will have a cafe also at the barbershop. So we are growing in a pandemic. James Tate has been a loyal client also, so thank you, brother, for what all you do. One of the things that definitely was mentioned was there was a promise that was made. And 2 years ago, I listened. And I thought it was exciting because if we had a branch that was in the community that's willing to work with small businesses, we wouldn't have to go out to some of these banks that deal with only big businesses. And so then 2020 happened. But yet they kept their promise. And here we are today celebrating a special moment that I've been to plenty of branches, but they've never been to my establishment. They have literally walked into my business and talked to me and got the things that they needed from me to figure out what I needed. That is a bank I want to bank with. That is a bank I want in my community. And so as the Grand River Business Association president, one of the things I want to do is create a synergy between us and TCF, because we now have a resource that we can continue to build out this corridor and make it into the retail corridor that we want it to be. Walkable, shoppable. And so, with that being said, thank you for placing this branch. Thank you for keeping your promise. And we will be opening up an account for the Grand River Business Association right here. Good to see everybody. Thank you.
The only problem with being across the street from Dante's Cuts Lounge is every time I go in there, he says, if you give me an hour, I could do you a big favor. I want to look like you. Before we call it... Thank you, Sherry. Before we call Latrice up to do the official ribbon cutting of the branch, we can never close a TCF branch, we can never close a TCF event without the final word. But today is indeed very special because the final word is not only coming from Reverend Wendell Anthony, the president of the NAACP, but he is one of the most important residents in Grandmont Rosedale. This is his home and his hometown. Ladies and gentlemen, the great Reverend Dr. Wendell Anthony.
Thank you, Gary. As unaccustomed as I am to public speaking, and I had no idea I was going to be called upon, let me just thank you to the mayor, to Lieutenant Governor Gilchrist, and to Councilman Tatum McAllister, and all the dignitaries, to Sheriff Washington. And you look real spiffy to be a sheriff today, I'm just saying. But congratulations, Ray. We know you're going to do an outstanding job. I know that Benny is very proud and smiling on you. Gary Torgo has struck again. Gary Torgo has struck again. Gary Torgo has struck again. The scriptures teach us that by their fruit you shall know them. One can tell the nature of a tree not by the bark that it bears, but by the fruit that it bears. Gary Torgo and TCF are bearing good fruit, soon to be Huntington Bank. Not only are they doing the development in the heart of downtown Detroit, and you know that they're building a new facility in the heart of the city, bringing hundreds of employees to downtown. But Gary and the bank, and Gary also does the SWAG Awards. Those are awards that are given to our young people to make sure they have scholarship opportunities. And they've been doing it for a long time. They've been doing hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars for our children. Not only that, Gary has made a commitment, and the bank has made a commitment to not only this kind of development, but to small business development within our community. See, it's one thing, Mayor, and you know this because you hear it all the time. We know we need a good downtown, strong downtown. But downtown is nothing without good neighborhoods. And good neighborhoods must be in an area where there's a strong downtown. They're both symbiotic. They feed off each other. And so, as Gary mentioned, I live 5 minutes from here. And once you get your hair cut or your hair done, you can come on to church. My church is not too far from here, particularly when we go open back up, and bring your tithes and your offerings. And so I'm just saying, you can get your physicality on, and then you can get your spirituality on as well. This is a beautiful community. We are excited. This makes a statement. There's not many banks that would do a branch and a community center at the same time. That's different. That's visionary. That's saying we got a stake in the community. And Gary Torgo has had a stake in the community, not only here, but in the Marygrove area, where they're helping to renovate and rehabilitate homes for people to live. So I thank God for this brother, and I call him brother in the truest sense of that word. He is of the Jewish faith, I'm of the Christian faith, but there's but one God. And he has blessed all of us to be the recipient of his grace. And so I just thank him and the bank for having this kind of vision. I'm glad that the mayor has had a vision that has helped to spread and to connect community and the heart of the city, and tentacles just continue to grow forth. Congratulations to Treese on your new position and all the folk that are going to come with you. It's good to know people in the banking business. And by the way, I do have accounts at TCF. Church has an account there. I have accounts there. And so one of the things about making this real is that start an account with the bank. Banks functions on deposits. I think I'm right about that. They function on deposits and investments. So invest them. As they've invested in us, let us invest in them. God bless you and thank you and congratulations.
So I don't know if I should start an account or give my tithes and offerings right now. Or both. We'll see. Or both. Thank you, sir. It's always a pleasure to have you.